you find yourself face to face with Herbert Gerblin. Can you defeat him is the question. And can I defeat my own UI overlapping with itself is the other question. Let's find out on today's episode of me being on stream. Hi everybody. How's it going? I'm gonna fix something real quick like. Where is that? What the fuck? Does this fix it? No. But this will fix it. No, that didn't fix it either. That fixes it. Cool. Neat. Already fixing the stream overlay. We've barely started. Let's give the dog a treat. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? Let's give the dog a treat. Let's give the dog a treat while we attack Herbert Gerblin. Sound good? That button. You want a treat? Praise! The dice roll right onto his snoot. Oh, so very good. So very, 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 very good. You deserve a peace prize for fixing your UI. You know what? It's actually not fixed enough. It's not properly spaced, and that's going to drive me insane. I'm gonna do one more quick adjustment. Oop, there we go. It was covering the shields. Cool. Hello, everybody. My name is Endeavorance. It is Friday, January 18th, 16th. I tried my dangdest. There's a year in there somewhere, but I couldn't be bothered to figure it out. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing? Where's dog? Beef. Here's dog. Under the desk as usual. How are people doing? I am doing. Oh, we just defeated Herbert Gerblin. Now fight a bear. I'm doing all right. Welcome to today's stream. We have a new mini game today. It's been a while. We've been on the older mini game that was just make number go up, and now we've got a new one. I threw this together last night and this morning. I'm excited to add more like little ways to engage with it, but for now it's just roll dice, deal damage, fight bear. So fight the bear, and win. That's what I need from you. What did the bear do? The bear voted for Jill Stein. The bear voted for Jill Stein, and worse, the bear like made a big stink about how like voting for Jill Stein is the morally superior option. That's the problem. That's what the bear did. Fuck Jill Stein. I wanna take everybody who like told me that I was wrong for saying that Jill Stein is a fucking loser of a candidate. I want to find each one of those people and ask them how their opinion of Jill Stein is with all the things that she's been doing recently. Hey, how about all that Jill Stein stuff that has been going on outside of a presidential election cycle? I was told by so many people to like, I was like reality checked by people who have never voted before about candidates that I have seen throughout my entire life failing. And I'm just like, y'all, it's not that I don't believe. It's not that I don't have the heart of hearts. It's just you don't understand reality yet. And that's fine. Like, you should have a voice. I wish that you would like listen to some people who could give you advice as you're entering this world of adulthood. Like, that would be great. But instead it was, if everyone just voted third party, it'd be fine. To be clear, the people who voted third party did not cause the situation that we are in. But the vitriol during the presidential election of like, oh, if you don't vote third party, then you're evil. It's like, bro, I can't even begin with you right now. Anyway, I don't want to talk about voting right now. It's not voting times. How's it going? Let's see. She's literally a Russian op, for fuck's sakes. Yeah, I mean, like, she's been a Russian op for a very long time. What has she been doing? The joke is that she's been doing nothing, is the joke. She hasn't been doing anything, because all she does is show up during presidential election cycles and then disappear after, like, making a big stink about how she needs to, like, get votes. Anyway, we've defeated the bear. Now please fight the bear, parentheses, OSHA compliant. The bear has a hard hat, so it's gonna be a lot harder because of that hat. You'll notice under the health bar are the shields. Different enemies will have different amounts of shields that subtracts damage as you're rolling your dice. So we just got an 8, but we got 5 shield. Well, bam. Anyway, bear OSHA compliant is the current boss fight. At least following safety standards. Yeah, this bear does it by the book. Absolutely does it by the book. Seems like he's a safe bear. Yeah. Oh no, it's important. It's important to wear a hard hat. Because, like, imagine if you didn't wear a hard hat. All these dice just rolling around everywhere. You would get a concussion. Look at how big these dice are compared to that bear. If it wasn't wearing a hard hat and one of these dice hit it, it's game over. But the bear doesn't have a reflective vest. It's not OSHA compliant. Says Chief Burps. You're right. Not fully OSHA compliant. Dog's on the move. Otter Judge and Jack Dack Sage. Thank you for the subs. Where'd the dog go? Oh, he's wandering. I'm gonna set up the dog cam preemptively before he gets in position. Hold on. There he goes. There he goes. Here we go. Let's see. We're taking bets here. How many spins? Incredible. Just went in, stuck the landing, first try, 0 to cozy. I've never. Incredible. I've never seen such raw talent, frankly. A doggo who knows what he wants. Oh, the bet is pre-spinned. I really like that. The bet is pre-spinned. You gotta get up in the morning real early to get all the spins done ahead of time. And drop a nat 20 right on top of him. Damn, we're tearing through this OSHA compliant bear. I will say there's some bigger enemies down the line, but I didn't prepare a ton of enemies for y'all to fight, and we're just kind of like ripping through it. We'll see. It eventually will just hit the final enemy and loop forever, just so that it doesn't run out. But I like I said, I put this together like last night and just kind of came up with a bunch of random shit. Healthcare CEO, that would be a good final boss. At first, the final boss was going to be the essence of terrible, so that y'all could fight terrible and get rid of terrible from the world. But then I changed it to something else. I have an impinged nerve in my shoulder, and it hurts like dollar octothorpe percentage octothorpe. I can honestly say that I've never felt that level of pain. War on terrible, you say? Yeah, this is America. Everything's a war. I'm so tired of everything being a war. The war on drugs. The war on terror. The war on fucking Christmas. Everything's a war. Can we have a scuffle? Can we have a kerfuffle? Can we have a spat? Or perhaps like a disagreement? Why has it got to be a war? I ain't no military man, all right? I'm not wearing no fatigues. I'm not wearing fatigues to Christmas. It's not war, it's a crisis. I feel like war is a crisis. I think that counts. Brouhaha? That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Santa has nukes, he'll use them if we flinch. Oh, we defeated the bear! Fight an eggplant now. Fight the eggplant. Do you see it smiling? All pleasant and kind? You're gonna fight this eggplant? You're gonna defeat this eggplant. Is that what you're gonna do? Look how smiley it is. And you're just gonna roll dice at it? I recently learned life is a war and every day is a fight. That's some like Sun Tzu shit. Unsolicited eggplant. Kind of rolled to seduce the eggplant. So here's what I'm gonna do. I want to add back. So I obviously the other game had the option to like increase your dice multiplier and have bonuses. With this new game, I want to add the option to like fill up a mana bar, and when it gets full, it like does a special move or something. And that'll probably be done via like cheers and stuff. We'll see. But largely, I wanna just like add fun little things that y'all can do to like more expressively fight, because we need more fighting. See, now we're wrecking it. I guess it wasn't actually all that. It wasn't good enough. Oh, that's the butt. Oh, we're just getting a optimal view. Okay, fixed up. Not spinning wasn't it. Yeah, we gotta spin. Gotta fix this. This is a mess. This does not go here. This needs to be moved. Fuck this shit. This is awful. Okay, wait, what was I doing? All right. Now over here. Wait. I'm on the edge of the bed. Oh, okay. Seems like a good spot over here. We've made a little divot. Got our den and nope. Fucking terrible. It's awful. Unacceptable. Oh, he's full on leaving. Whole ass leaving. Rip. What happened? What's going on, bud? What's going on? Father, help! Father, help! It's good, dog. Oh my. It's really good, dog. What is this? What is going on? All right, I'm sorry, everybody. Apparently, I need to play with the dog. Oh no! Oh no! Destruction and chaos. I'm gonna play with the dog, I guess. Come here. Oh, come here. Oh. This is how he likes to play. He just flips upside down and bites me. This is play. This is ostensibly a dog. Like, there's theoretically a dog here, right here. I can't find it. It's upside down. So anyway, praise. There's that. Oh, need poops? I don't think so, but he'll get one soon enough. I think he's just a little restless, is all. Hello, puppy. Indeed. Hello. Welcome in, Traveling Camilla. How's it going? And yes, it puppy. Puppy's back under the desk. I'm being looked at. The dice battle mechanic is a brilliant way to promote subs. Thank you. I don't like just having like donation goal where it's like, give me money and we need to meet this amount of money. And if we don't, then I'm mad at you. Like, that's not my vibe. I don't feel comfortable with just like, give me money in response for nothing. So like at the very least, for like subscriptions and stuff, roll a bunch of dice, fun little game, whatever. I am gonna add, to do this eventually, a place where you can like donate just straight, like more directly to me, and in doing so, it will also allow you to roll more dice. So instead of requiring that you do Twitch subscriptions or whatever else, I'm just gonna make a thing where you can go and it's just gonna be like a 1-to-1, you know, $1 equals 1 dice roll or something like that. And then that will also go directly to me, because it kind of sucks having like the entire creator economy basically being massive platforms that make money off of what we are doing and take way more of a cut than they really fucking deserve. Like, you know, I don't get the full payout from every Twitch subscription, right? I get like at most 50% of the money, at most, and they keep fucking like reducing it or whatever. So to that end, if you want to support me, one of the best ways to do that would be my Patreon. Patreon.com/Endeavorance. I can type my own name. If you want to support me, the best way to do so right now is to join up on my Patreon. There's actually a new video up there. It's like a really technical deep dive overview-y thingy of the software library that I recently published. If none of that made any sense, don't worry about it. There's other content there too. But it is the best way to help me consistently do this. And it's something that I don't push very often, and I'm trying to force myself to push more often, because I need to be able to sustain myself. I hate needing money. Needing money is dumb, and we shouldn't have it. I think that would be good, is to not have money. Because then I wouldn't have to ask for it. But unfortunately, I do have to eat, and I checked the groceries, and they still cost money. So that's that. Do I need to give pep talks? Because I will do that. Says okay-ish. Yeah, I mean, like it's a matter of, I'm not doing this to make money. Right, like making money is a required part of this. If I want to be able to put my full focus and energy into doing what I do, I need to be able to pay my bills and feed myself. I'm not doing this to be rich. This is a dumb way to try to get rich. It's not working, I can tell you that much. TikTok just gave me a $12 payout. So, like, if you're wondering, look, I know that like any amount of money is money, right? Like, I get it. And also, $12 over the course of a month for an account with nearly 500,000 followers that gets like millions of views per month. Wowza. You would have stayed in tech? Yeah. I left working in tech, which was like paid pretty freaking well. I did not want to do that anymore. It was destroying my soul. Like working in tech was ruining me. And like switching over to content where it's like, oh, I can like make things that make people happy and like educate people and like bring some joy to people's lives. Great. I want to do that because what I'm doing right now is optimizing user flows to extract money and I hate it. So yeah, but like going to do this, it's just not, unless you are a massive creator. I mean like a person who's streaming to like thousands and thousands and thousands of people. You're just not gonna make a lot of money, especially not just from donations. Like the people who are streaming to thousands and thousands of people can make a lot of money from donations alone. Most people need to do like sponsored content or whatever. And I just don't want to do that either. Because again, I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this to make stuff. I like making things more than I like making money. It's just that if I want to keep making things, I need the money, which fucking sucks. So that's the struggle that's going on in my head all the time of like, I need to push my stuff. I've got a merch store. I've got a Patreon. I've got ways for people to support me. I need to push it. And also I know as a consumer of content, how little I like having to sit through being told like, here's all of our sponsors and mid-roll content and shit, as opposed to just, here's what you're here for. Like, here's the video you're here for. Our young friends just bought a whole ass house and we're like, how in the hell did you do that? I mean, it's rough. It's just not impossible. You could buy a house. I mean, I don't know what the conditions of the house are or whatever, but you can buy a house that's relatively cheap. It just might be falling apart at the seams. Needing money sucks. My partner and I lost $20,000 in annual income when we got laid off. Both had to take big pay cuts with new jobs. It's fucking bad. It's really bad right now. The like job market, the just lack of income. I don't think anyone's really had a second to stop and acknowledge just how fucked everything is. I saw a post that put it pretty succinctly the other day that was just like, you know, making a purchase will make you feel, you know, like buying something will make you feel like you're bad with money, but all you did was buy groceries. Like all you did was buy food. Or no, it was the economy will make you, will have you sitting here thinking that you're like terrible with money, but all you did was buy food. And it's like, yeah, if you are a person living in the United States of America right now, food is a luxury. Straight up, like ample access to food is a luxury in the United States of America. It's fucking crazy. And like, yeah, it's by design. Yeah, it is by design. That is absolutely correct. Like it's by design. Like it's the same reason that we have healthcare tied to employment. I'm gonna fix the dog cam. Hold on. He went back to make use of his brilliant work from earlier, so that's good. Yeah, it's the same reason that we have our healthcare tied to employment. If you are a worker in free country USA and you lose your job, you lose your fucking healthcare. Or you have to pay an exorbitant amount of money for a thing called COBRA, which is like temporary healthcare coverage after you lose your job that costs like 10 times as much money. So like that's part of why people are like, oh, I need to work myself to death because that's the only option I have otherwise to not die. But then we're not making enough money to buy food, and we're not making enough money to pay rent, and we're not making enough money to buy houses, and we're not making enough money to have children, and we're not making enough money to raise children. We're not making enough money to have the time to go have third spaces and be a part of our communities. And this is all by design. Like it's intentional. There's a reason that like business owners love coming to America to do all their business owner stuff. It's because we have dog shit worker protections, a government that is far more interested in enriching themselves rather than actually regulating anything. And we are the center of a lot of the global economy, and so a lot of stuff just comes through us essentially because we're running like a big security racket, right? So it's like if you come to America, you get access to more markets, access to labor that you can treat like shit, and access to markets that you can actively manipulate by just paying off a few politicians. So like that's why they love coming here. And we're the ones that get fucked. The exact reason I had to pivot career paths to a doctoral degree that hopefully pays enough to survive. I really hate this system. It's wild. It's wild that anyone can work a full-time job in this country and not be able to afford basic lodging and food. Right? If you work a 40-hour job, if you work a full-time job, it shouldn't even require 40 hours. You should be able to afford a one-bedroom apartment and normal amounts of food in your locality where you're working. This is not, I'm not breaking new ground here. This is not a hot take. This is a standard ass how society functions take. Feel like people don't talk about offshoring enough either. Yeah, we don't have anything. The US is fucked. It's part of why they're doing all this like last ditch effort of trying to force China and Russia out of oil markets, and trying to take Greenland and Venezuela and all this shit aside from rare earth metals too. We don't have anything. We don't have industry. We don't have the ability to fix our own shit once we're fucked up. Like we need to be in this position of holding all these other countries under our thumb so that we can stay functional as a country, because otherwise we don't have anything. Like there's this stuff going on right now with the Chinese EV market. I believe Canada is going to start allowing Chinese electric vehicles. So like Chinese electric vehicles are straight up just like not allowed in the US because they're so far past where we are with electric vehicle manufacturing. And vehicle manufacturing is a huge sector for America. Like that is one of our claims to fame. We love our cars, right? We are not meeting the moment with Chinese EV manufacturers. They are one, subsidized by the Chinese government, so like it's much more affordable, but we can do that too. And we did that for a while and we still fumbled the ball. So we've got Chinese electric vehicles that are now going to be more accessible on this continent, because if we press this button, breaking with the United States, Canada has agreed to cut its 100% tariff on Chinese electric cars in return for lower tariffs on Canadian farm products. So we basically prevent Chinese electric vehicles from being a reasonable purchase stateside, despite them being very affordable, very capable, and just straight up better than basically anything we have. Canada has said, fuck it, we're done. We're gonna allow that market here. And that's gonna fuck up the US auto industry. Because like we are, like I said, we are so far behind. They've sort of rolled out some of the big name American companies. They've sort of rolled out some interesting EV options, right? Like you had Ford come out with the electric F-150, which like almost was kind of cool. And then I think they've already canned that. Did they already get rid of that? Ford ends electric F-150. Did that happen or did I make that up? No, they updated it. Okay. Oh, wait, no. Never mind. Ford pulls the plug on all-electric F-150 Lightning pickup truck. Okay. It will focus instead on hybrid vehicles for the future, and a future line of smaller, cheaper EVs. Ford says the move is following customer demand and reflecting the reality that all-electric Lightning was a money loser, and Ford concluded that it will always be. Like, Ford is already failing to deliver on the next generation of personal transportation. right? We're not talking about car manufacturing. We're talking about what the future of transportation looks like. And Elon Musk seems to think that the future of transportation is everybody buys specifically a Tesla that runs specifically his company's self-driving algorithm, which is one of the worst on the market. That's not a particularly wonderful future. But instead of like trying to do good, they're like, oh, that didn't work. I guess we'll go back to just selling gigantic fucking trucks and maybe make them kind of hybrid. So Canada allowing all these cars into their market is going to put pressure on the US for basically having to deal with an external market that they've been insulated from this whole time. And it's going to be really fucking interesting to see what happens, because like it's not currently sustainable. Seeing a lot more Rivians down here in Florida, which is interesting. Yeah, Rivian is doing pretty well. It's at least, you know, not associated with a fucking Nazi, but it's still just like prohibitively expensive. That's the problem. All these EVs have been, you know, this whole time we've essentially been saying, oh, they're too expensive. Oh, like, well, you know, so-and-so is going to get an EV once it's more affordable, or so on and so forth. That's not what's happening. Like, they're not doing that here. They're just making them more expensive. But overseas, they're making them less expensive and more affordable. It's just that they can do that because overseas, they don't care about having a gigantic fucking oversized truck to do their grocery shopping with. And so they're able to have more variety of vehicles and shit. Slate EV trucks look interesting. That's the one that is like super basic, right? Slate EV truck. Yeah, so it's a concept car that's essentially like, what if we took an electric vehicle truck and removed like literally everything, including like power windows, but literally everything except for truck that go vroom with batteries. And that's the car. And you can customize it from there. You can like add stuff back in. You can do whatever. But I think it starts at like 10,000, something like that. I do think it's like Bezos backed, I think. But like, I mean, still, we need more small trucks. We need less giant trucks, like entirely. $20K starting. That's still too high. That's still way too high. It should not start at 20K. There are whole ass, full featured electric vehicles from China that are under $10,000. And again, yeah, they're subsidized. That's what a government that's trying to make moves in a market does. We subsidize corn. We still do that. We're really fucking good at subsidizing sugar and like meat, but we can't subsidize transportation. The Ford Ranger being discontinued was a tragedy. I've seen a bunch of people talk about like having a Ford Ranger and being like chased down by middle-aged white men being like, boy, I tell you, it's a damn shame they stopped making this car. Let me talk to you about your car. And it's like, no, I'm just trying to get out of here. You can pick up a Nissan Leaf for 20,000 that's fully featured. Yeah, that too. Like there are approachably priced cars. I'd say approachably, not affordably. But like if you are in the market for a car in America and your budget is not, you know, in the 40K plus range, it is in the under 40K range, which is like most reasonable people's cars, I think. There are options there. It's just there are not many good US based options. Pretty much at all. And that includes Tesla. Like Teslas as cars, Teslas are pretty shitty. Like their build quality is garbage. And like they're stiff and clunky and made by a dude who thinks that being trans is a mind virus. So, you know, there's a lot of negatives there. Have you heard about Donut Labs' new solid state battery? I think I did an episode of Stuff Keeps Happening on it. I think. I'm pretty sure I did. Stuff Keeps Happening solid state battery. Let's see if anything comes up when I search that. Site skh.news? Does that work? I talked about a different one. It was a different one. Let's see. Let's look at this really good website. So this is a really good website called skh.news, and it is a website where I post some stuff sometimes. And this is an older episode. This is from September 2025. Let's see. We've got ice, we've got drones, Nepal. Oh yeah, the sand battery. Hell yeah, that fucking sand battery episode. And then yeah, powered by power. Okay. A different company. Yeah, Ion Storage Systems is the company I talked about. Has been building a solid state battery that recently. They've been building solid state batteries recently, which promise possible 50% increased storage capacity over lithium ion, as well as a near zero chance to do that whole exploding thing. Thanks, past me. Glad that I was able to go back. Oh, koalas be fucking. I wrote this? I don't remember what I write or say, like pretty much immediately after I write or say it. So here's my website, skh.news. If you want to read about koala fucking, there's that. My psychic teacher did not believe me. My physic teaver did not believe me that sand batteries exist. They do exist. They exist very much so. Koala syphilis will never not be funny. It's mostly sad. It's a little funny. It's a little funny. OMG Dogcam, hello. I saw you were doing a stream and I was intrigued by the title. Well, great. You're here for the webinar. Wonderful. Here is how you steal the Declaration of Flindependence. Does that help? Oh, we're fighting the next enemy. Eggplant with a gun. You beat up that eggplant? Now it's got a gun. Oh, we had a 34 month from Kryptonite? Holy shit. 34 months from Kryptonite. God damn. Hope you're doing well, Kryptonite. Anyway, yeah, you didn't expect it. You thought you were just fighting an eggplant? Well, the eggplant has a gun now. Okay. This eggplant parm fights back. So I was playing Pogs on public transit, and suddenly it's a lot more popular. I'm glad they were playing Pogs. Bring back Pogs. Y'all remember Pogs? Are they still a thing? Milk caps is what they were called. Milk caps is a children's game played with flat circular cardboard milk caps. I guess that's what that was. Look at these Pogs, y'all. God damn. I had a big old slammer. I had one of those slammers that was like completely, definitely not regulation. Yeah. That good shit. What's going on? sort of like in the world. 5 gifted subs from Nick. Thank you, thank you. Straight Purple Cat, thank you for the follow. Modding Ninja, thank you for the follow. The Doc, thank you for the follow. Solemn Assassin, thank you for the sub. Up Dingo. What's up, Dingo? Thank you, Attainers and Ronan Queen for the cheers. Chaotic Brain Person, thank you for the sub. Sam Cash for the follow. I'm sorry I missed all these. I'm sorry I missed like literally all of these, but you know how it goes. I was hugging a dog. I was loving a dog. Holographic Pogs are the best one. I'm pretty sure I had that as my slammer. Pretty sure. Everything is on fire. More news at 9. I'm gonna be solidly in bed by 9. Can we do more news at like 6? 9 is like 8 hours past my bedtime. How old is the doggo? He is somewhere between 7 and 10. I don't know his exact age. I got him in 2018 and was told he was 2 by the rescue, and then took him to the vet, and the vet said, no, he seems closer to 1 based on his teeth. And that was 2018. So that's all I know. But I can tell you that in his heart, he's just a little puppy. He's just a little puppy. Look at this guy. Look at this little dude. This is just a little dude. Like, he's just a little dude. And just, like, lives with me. It's incredible. It's the best thing. I love it so much. I'm gonna sit. I've been standing for the past 40 minutes. Let's ride the roller coaster. And then we're gonna talk about a couple of things. But first we gotta ride the roller coaster. So please keep your hands inside the vehicle at all times as we ride the roller coaster. Yeehaw. Yeehaw. So, I want to call out a thing. Let me pull up. I need to pull up some visual aids here. Please hold. One more thing. Just need to find a post. This is important. Oh, come on. Okay, well, I can't find it. I can't find the post I was looking for. But, yeah, no, okay. Anyway, so the thing I was trying to find was a post from Chuck Schumer, because we love to laugh at Chuck Schumer here. Chuck Schumer posted a thing the other day about how they were making a big point in saying no to the White House with a new strongly worded letter, this time in the form of passing the War Powers Resolution, which would essentially be a strongly worded letter that senators signed off on, like a resolution, that says like, hey, White House, you have to ask us for permission before you do something. You can't just go do the thing with the war. You gotta ask us first. It's not nice if you don't ask us for permission. And so that was like the big move that Chuck Schumer was talking about doing, and how like they passed the resolution. It's like, this sends a message that we're not gonna stand idly by, blah, 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 blah. And at the time, I quote tweeted that post and just said like, you've done nothing. This is nothing. You've sent another strongly worded letter, but you like, paper cannot defeat rock if the rock doesn't fucking read. So, guess what? Senate rejects Venezuela War Powers Resolution as 2 Republicans flip. So they made a big deal about passing a vote that would cause the Senate to have another vote on the thing that actually would matter, sort of. And they celebrated getting the procedural vote done, only to have the actual vote do exactly the thing that we expected it to do, which is Republicans sided with Trump. Like, there were Republicans that were like, I'm not gonna let Trump just do whatever he wants. We have to be able to rein in the blah, blah. And they flipped and let him do it anyway. So, like, Chuck Schumer doing a victory lap about getting this resolution voted on the floor. That was Chuck Schumer's fucking crowning achievement this month, was getting a vote for a thing that failed and turning around and being like, this sends a firm message to the White House that's deploying untrained random racists with silencers on their lethal weapons into sovereign states that didn't vote for you. Neat. Very cool. Very cool. So the Senate sidelined a war powers resolution Wednesday that would have put a check on Trump's power or Trump's ability to carry out further attacks on Venezuela. Trump lashed out at 5 GOP senators who joined with Democrats to advance the resolution last week. Yet even the possibility that the Republican-controlled Senate would divide Trump on such a high-profile vote revealed the growing alarm on Capitol Hill about the president's expanding foreign policy ambitions. It's actually crazy that this dude, this sundowning con man, is just doing all of this shit essentially because, like, each of his he's surrounded by a bunch of advisors who all have their own, like, personal vendettas and, like, personal, you know, goals, and they're all telling him that these goals are important and popular, which is why he's going around. It's not like Trump doesn't know what Greenland is. It's not like he came up with that idea. There are tech oligarchs trying to purchase Greenland so they can convert it into a like country full of sovereign cities run by executives that are considered essentially kings. They essentially want to turn Greenland into a giant mesh of company towns. And so they're going after Trump and being like, Trump, it's really important to get Greenland. And they want that too. It'd be good for everybody. And he's like, oh, this is a great idea. And they'll be like, and you can call it Trumpinstan. And he's like, oh, I can put my name on it? Oh, are we about to defeat the eggplant with a gun? 1 HP. Oh my God. Boom. You are face to face with the happy ghost. How dare you? Why are you rolling against the happy ghost? Oh no. Oh no. Not the happy ghost. So this dude is just, like, going on a rampage of, like, trying to, you know, go out. He's going after Venezuela, going after Greenland, going after, he wants to go after Cuba. All of these are the personal goals of various advisors, be it Stephen Miller, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, whatever. He's just doing all of this shit for them, but doesn't realize what he's doing. He doesn't want to do any of this shit. Or rather, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and, like, none of this comes from him, I think. That doesn't change the fact that he's an idiot and just does whatever his advisors say and just says whatever is the last thing he just learned about. There's that clip, I'm not gonna look it up because who gives a shit about hearing this guy speak, but there's a clip where he is talking about whole milk because for whatever reason, despite everything that's going on in the world, people in this country to some degree are upset about milk or something. So he was talking about whole milk. And in talking about whole milk, he clarified that whole milk is spelled W-H-O-L-E, milk. And he said that's W-H-O-L-E for those who struggle with that. That tells me that he just learned how to spell whole milk. The dude's illiterate. We know this. Like, we know that he's illiterate. But he made it a point to point out the spelling of the word whole in whole milk, which is not a thing you do if you're just talking about whole milk and knew how to spell it. It's fucking crazy. The dude just like cannot help himself. Anyway, the War Powers Act did not get passed. They are just straight up going to let him do this shit. It's really, really sad how many chiropractors live in the DC area, and yet all of these senators, their spines are completely fucking missing. Maybe it's because of the chiropractors. Maybe all the chiropractors ripped out all their spines. Man has never entered a grocery store. I mean, he's always saying like, "Oh, groceries, that's an old term, but I'm gonna still use it." Like, what? The fuck are you talking about? Yeah, no, it's the lack of any conviction from Republican senators. You know, like ostensibly, these fucking cowards are people who want to be left alone by the government, want less spending from the government, want less international intervention from the government, but that is only the case when they're not in power. The second they're in power, they do the polar opposite of that. And that's the annoying part, because people who actually pay attention know that. But people who don't pay attention just hear them saying the other things. And they're like, oh, Republicans are the party of fiscal responsibility. When that hasn't been true for my entire life. Like, there has not been a year of me being alive that Republicans were the party of fiscal responsibility. It's just not been true. Ever once in my life. It's the same reason he genuinely thought affordability was made up. What do you mean? He's not been able to afford something, so everything is good, right? He's never not been able to afford something, so everything is good. He doesn't know anything about anything. And it's really unfortunate that like you go and see, you know, you look on Truth Social or whatever, and he'll post something obviously wrong, like obviously a lie, right? He'll like post something saying, gas is cheaper than ever. Like over the past 20 years, gas has never been so affordable. And it's like, that is so obviously disprovable to the point that like even his own cultists can't agree with it. Like it's so on the face of it objectively wrong, and they're living that objectivity, right? They can't break with the fact that they are paying more. So the only option they have left is not criticize, it's assume that he has been lied to by everyone around him. That's and there's a conspiracy to keep the truth of how the country is right now away from him, because if he only knew, he would fix everything. But he doesn't know this, and that's the problem. And so they're like desperately tweeting at him, trying to be like, sir, it's not like that. Like you're probably being lied to. It's not actually like that. And it's like, no, you fucking idiot. He doesn't care. Like, please come to the light. You don't have to go from being a hardcore supporter of this current administration to being, you know, a card-carrying member of the DSA. But could you at least, like, look back at the past 10 years maybe and be like, oh, it's been a solid decade and things are bad, if not worse. Maybe we at least do something else. Literally anything else. But nope. The sunk cost fallacy is too strong. It's like when Musk became even more overtly Nazi and people are like, this isn't you, please stop. Yeah, I get so mad when I see those bumper stickers on Teslas that are like, I bought this before he went crazy. Motherfucker, the dude's been crazy this whole time. You just never paid attention. Ever. And like, you thought that you fell for his grift. You thought you were doing good by buying the electric vehicle. And like, I can't really blame you. I had insider knowledge of how fucking terrible he was because he's a major player in the industry that I was in. But like, he's always been a beneficiary of apartheid and crazy. It's just how he's been. I do think people are lying to him about how things really are, but I don't think he would care if he knew. I don't think he would accept it. I think he truly refuses to acknowledge that like he's bad at this. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how bad things are, and there's no way to explain it. He doesn't understand how tariffs work, right? Like, you can't explain national scale economic policy intricacies to a dude who thinks windmills, to use his term, cause cancer. And like, that's just the reality of the situation. He's too stupid to understand what anyone is saying, even if they are lying to him. Oh, that's one of my oldest friends to the bullshit that Elon's doing. That's rough. It's so shitty because it's so not necessary. The dude has more money than anyone could ever even dream to have had ever. And what is he doing with it? Like, fuck all. Like, nothing but going on a ketamine bender and trying to start race wars. Like, it's so unnecessary. And the people who idolize him have no idea just how little he thinks of them. Truly, it's worse than Trump. I genuinely think Elon Musk hates people that like him more than Trump. He doesn't want to ever be around anyone who's not just going to tell him that he's amazing. I remember, so I worked at a company once. So I used to work in tech, and I had a product manager once who was a big Elon Musk stan. Fucking weird about it too. He used to like refer to I was not working at Tesla. And neither was this guy. He was my product manager at not Tesla. But he would talk as if he was a part of Tesla. So it was like before the Cybertruck came out, and like one of my teammates was like poking fun at the product manager, being like, yeah, so how's the Cybertruck going? And goes, oh no, yeah, I really think that we're getting close to being able to launch it soon. I've been involved in a lot of the designing and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, why are you trying to act as though you're like Elon Musk's BFF or something? He would go on to like, I was like talking about how he said something along the lines of like, oh, well, like I like, or I know Elon Musk and like, I hang out with him all the time or something like that. And I'm like, cool. I think he's the worst person alive. And the guy and the product manager guy is like, oh yeah, a lot of people don't like him. I'm like, no, I think the world would be better if he was dead. Like, I think that right now, one of the best things that can happen for this planet would be for him to die. And the product manager guy was like, I mean, yeah, you probably really don't like him, but like, I bet I've got stories that would make you hate him even more. And I'm like, no, I know those stories. I think he should be dead. Did you know that if we liquidated Elon Musk and distributed his wealth to everyone on the entire planet, everybody would get 86, 84? I do that math every new year. That's good math to do. I mean, obviously that's not how it works, but also that's a legendary drop. Take care, Ice Cream Socialist. Have a good rest of your day. Why is his response to I hate this guy something like I can make you hate him more? Because he wanted to show his proximity to Musk, and in doing so, like, that was his goal, right? His goal was showing off that he has special access or something. In reality, he probably was like at a party once that Elon Musk was like at, sort of, and like maybe got high with him or something. Maybe that's probably all it was. I don't know. But I left that company largely because of that guy. And then he got fired right after I left. I wonder why. I did that with my bestie like 10 years ago or something. They thought he was a genius. And I was just like, ew. And she's like, what? And I turned her into hating him proper. That's the problem, is like people don't think about the actual reality around public figures. They don't. It's like we have a president right now that a lot of people voted for because they think that he's a businessman, right? Donald Trump is not a businessman. He's a con man. And this is super well understood, right? Like everyone who's ever worked with him, the people who did The Apprentice, like The Apprentice is the thing that made the public zeitgeist associate Donald Trump with business, right? That show is the reason that we have Donald Trump as a president right now. It's because people watched that show and thought, oh man, what a strong businessman with acumen and shit. If you go back and talk to the people who produced The Apprentice, they're like, dude was useless. Like, he was a fucking moron. His office was disgusting and smelled like piss. And we had to like they specifically had to find different places to stage his office and like boardrooms and stuff, because his actual office and boardrooms were so fucking gross and awful, and no one would actually believe the aesthetic, right? So they designed a fake version of Donald Trump to be the host of The Apprentice, and then a bunch of people thought that Donald Trump was a businessman. But like everyone in New York City has always known he's a piece of shit, and anyone who's been paying attention to the world ever has known that as well. But it doesn't really matter, because there's a large contingent of people who don't care to actually learn things. They just take what they've been told and accept it, and like that's the basis of their reality, right? So if the only thing you knew was Elon Musk equates to electric cars, rockets, and lots of money, and smart, right? If you operate with that foundation of like who Elon Musk is, and then you're suddenly presented with like, oh, actually, he's a fucking moron who bought his way into all of his relevant companies and is just a ketamine-fueled racist. They're going to be like, oh, that doesn't make sense. No, he has $700 billion. He wouldn't have $700 billion if he was a racist, right? Like they're just not able to take this information and reprocess, because they've been existing under a different framework for so long. And then we end up with people being like, oh, well, I think we just need to run the country like a business, and Donald Trump is business boy. I'm gonna vote for him. And then they're like, oh, why is there masked agents going door to door, ripping people out of their houses? How could this have happened? Hello, good morning. Great to see you, Endeavorance. Hello, I can't see you. I can see your username, but I can't see you. But it is great to see your username this morning. Most of the businesses that he ran failed. That too. Again, anyone who pays attention knows the classic, Donald Trump bankrupted a casino. Donald Trump bankrupts everything he touches. He has a million ventures that all fucking fail. You bring that up, they're going to find excuses for why that doesn't matter. Why that's irrelevant information. The zeitgeist, the casual understanding is that he's a businessman and doesn't take bullshit. He'll fire someone who he doesn't think is doing a good job. That is what people know. And until you can give them a new, like, real concrete reason to change the way that they're thinking about this, they're just going to push back and come up with more reasons why you must be lying to them, or your perspective must be tainted, because there's no way it can change their actual perspective. Thank you. I'm a hydrate. I want to talk about not Donald Trump, because I don't want to just make all of what I do talk about this fucking guy. I'm so sick of him. Lost 10 goddamn years of my life to this fucking guy. Let's talk about Iran, which has had some updates, I believe. Let's see. As far as I understand, I have not done a ton of digging into this, so we're going to be learning this together. Iran's regime retook the streets. This is from Financial Times. The images that trickled out of Iran showed a country gripped by chaos. Tens, if not hundreds of thousands of protesters, body bags laid outside morgues, gunfire ringing in the streets. The unrest appeared last week to have such momentum that the Islamic Republic's foes speculated that the regime was close to near collapse and its supreme leader, Ayatollah, was plotting an Assad-style escape. But just days later, Iranians reached over sputtering phone lines and secret satellite internet connections, along with international observers say the protests appear to have faded. With little reliable information escaping Iran's current internet curbs and misinformation flooding into the gap, establishing exactly what happened across a nation of 90 million people is nearly impossible. But in phoned interviews, smuggled messages from encrypted communications set up by activists, and stark testimonies collected by human rights activists, a bleak picture is emerging. They depict bitter national convulsion as protesters, armed agitators, and the authoritarian government security forces battled each other for control of the streets. They provide some details of a violent, far-reaching response by the regime, an unprecedented crackdown that could prove akin to the Islamic Republic's own Tiananmen Square moment. They also show a precarious moment of great anticipation that, quote, that the US and Israel will be taking some sort of action. It's brutal right now. There's like basically no way to get reliable information. And it's part of why I've not been talking statistics regarding the situation in Iran. There's a lot of conflicting information out there from sources that all have their own agenda, right? Like you need to know what is to be gained from a given outlet's perspective on reporting on something as difficult as international potential revolutions in a country where we don't really have a lot of insight to begin with, that has shut down communications. What you're going to get there, like that's ripe for, oh, well, we can fill in the blanks. Like we can come up with the stories of what's going on in there and manufacture whatever consent we want. Like the US and Israel were really, really, really excited about trying to manufacture the consent to go in and liberate the Iranian people from their government, which is not what the Iranian people probably wanted. It seems like shit's kind of like settling down a bit, but not in a great way. We kind of knew that it was very unlikely that the current regime was going to be overthrown. Like, it doesn't take a lot of effort to push an authoritarian regime to a place where they will assert their power by way of mass violence. Like we're starting to see that from the Trump administration, and it's no stranger to protests in Iran. They're not going to go down without a fight, right? So like the notion of regime change coming from something like this, it's the same as when people are like, why don't Americans just go do more? Like, motherfucker, what do you think is going to happen? Like the people, it's like the people who are like, oh, what are you going to do about it? Like, oh, okay, yeah, like some random person in California is going to fucking walk to DC and try to do what? They're not going to get anywhere before they get fucking blipped, just beefed off this mortal coil by a sniper. Now, like, multiply that by 1,000 with a regime that's perfectly okay with doing that and has in the past, and that's what you've got. So like, it's the people up against an organized international power that is perfectly okay with killing their own citizens to stay in power. So it takes like serious work. And like, I'm not saying that they weren't doing serious work. Thousands have likely died. But like, short a persistent ongoing effort for weeks, if not months, and short, some sort of direct intervention. Like if protesters manage to get their current leadership detained, that would be one thing. But like, that's also very, very, very fucking hard. We need to fight the government. The government has sky guns. I mean, like, okay, we've got historical precedent here, right? There have been times that U.S. citizens have done a standoff with the U.S. government recently with guns. There was that, what was it, in like Oregon, I think? Oregon gun holdout U.S. citizens. Where was that? It was like in a. It was in like an old church or something. U.S. citizens fire at law enforcement hold out in church. Was that it? That's not doing it. Ruby Ridge, is that? Let me look up Ruby Ridge. Maybe that was it. Ruby Ridge standoff. When was this? No, 1992. I'm thinking of something much more recent. It was like 2010-ish. Yeah. This is 1992. But I mean, probably very similar. Put on some tavern music. The Ruby Ridge standoff was a siege of a cabin occupied by the Weaver family in Boundary County, Idaho, in August 1992. The deputies of the Marines of the Marshals came to arrest Randy Weaver under a bench warrant for his failure to appear on the federal firearms charges that he was given the wrong blah 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 blah. They shot Weaver's dog. No. Yeah, so there was a standoff here. Let's see. Bundy, at least a decade ago. If anyone remembers what the fuck was the thing that I'm thinking of. U.S. civilian standoff with government. 4 days. It was like multiple days. Bundy standoff? Bundy standoff. Yes. 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 The 2014 Bundy standoff was an armed confrontation between supporters of cattle rancher Cliven Bundy and law enforcement following a 21-year legal dispute in which BLM obtained court orders directing Bundy to pay over $1 million in withheld grazing fees for Bundy's use of federally owned land adjacent to his ranch in southeastern Nevada. So, dude, let's see. Did a hold-off confrontation April 5th, 2014 to May of 2014. So it was like a month. Resulted in the BLM suspends the roundup of trespassing cattle, protesters dispersed, incidents diffused, indicted on felonies. All charges against Cliven Bundy, 2 sons, and co-defendant dismissed with prejudice? Holy, wait, he won? Wait, he won? What? Wait. Sorry, I'm trying to find... Aftermath. 2016 standoff? Wait, but then there was another one. On February 10th, 2016, Cliven Bundy traveled to Portland, Oregon, in response to federal law enforcement moving to end a standoff led by his sons. Wait, it was the same people as before? Because that's the one I was thinking. I was thinking of the one in Oregon. Yeah. This is the one I was thinking of. This is the actual one I was thinking of, which apparently came from his children. So that guy had kids who went on to have another standoff with federal agents. This is the one I was thinking of. On January 2nd, 2016, an armed group of right-wing activists seized and performed adverse occupation of the headquarters of the Mahler National Wildlife Refuge in Harney County, Oregon. This is the one that I was thinking of. I'm fairly sure. Continued to occupy it until they made an arrest on, again, over a month. Yeah, Amon Bundy. Yep. Participated in the Bundy standoff in 2014. So they've got pedigree here. The organizers were seeking an opportunity to advance their view that the federal government is constitutionally required to turn over most of the federal public land that they manage to individual states, in particular land managed by BLM, the Fish and Wildlife Service, and the Forest Service, and other agencies. What a wild thing. Like, a family history of having, yeah, it's a family tradition, says Black Tie, Black Suit. A family history of doing this is wild. By February 11th, all of the militants had surrendered or withdrawn from the occupation, with several leaders having been arrested after leaving the site. One of them, Robert Lavoy Finicum, was shot and killed during an attempt to arrest him, and after he reached for his gun. Damn. I just remember, like, seeing things about supply runs and stuff, like people secretly trying to bring them supplies and shit. Wild. So, I mean, there you go. My point was that there have been multiple times where the citizens of the US have had live fire standoffs with the US government, and it lasts a long time. And part of that is because, especially if you are white, right, the US government has straight up firebombed black neighborhoods and razed them to the ground. That's America, baby. That's what we do. But if you are white and you hole up in a cabin somewhere in Oregon, they don't firebomb you. They try their dangdest to figure out how to take you alive. And things may be different now with the current administration, but often, like, the military is not interested in fighting U.S. civilians. The ICE agents are, but the U.S. military is not particularly interested in fighting U.S. citizens. Federal agents aren't particularly interested in getting fucking murked. Like, they don't want that. So, like, they're not going to go in guns a-blazing. They're going to try to figure out how to do it tactically. And also, the U.S. government doesn't want to have, like, oh, wow, the U.S. government is perfectly okay with just mass murdering people who are causing a little bit of a ruckus in their country full of guns. Like, that's not a good look either. So, like, they want to avoid the international scrutiny. They want to avoid getting auto beefed. So, like, it's not nothing, you know? There's a reason that having an armed populace does matter. And there's a reason why no reasonable person would just start going in, starting a hot civil war in the US. There are so many guns, it would be chaos immediately. And they don't want that. At the same time, the people who are like, oh, you got to have a gun because you got to, like, save yourself from tyrannical governments or whatever, they are not the ones who are upset about what ICE is doing. Like, they are the ones that are cheering it on. It's not the same people. So. Bad vs. Evil gave out 5 community subs. Thank you. ICE and the National Guard, though. I mean, it depends on the scenario, right? The National Guard is going to go in and not stand against ICE, right? Like, the National Guard is not going to be deployed to disperse ICE. That's just not going to happen. The commander-in-chief giving an order to the military to open live fire on U.S. civilians is a very different thing. I don't think that would happen. I think that they would go to different groups first, right? Like I think we would much sooner see ICE agents essentially be given a license to kill before we would see the military open fire on civilians. I don't see that happening. They're not interested in the destruction of this nation because this nation's existence and continued sustenance is what gives them a thing to do. So, yeah. I get the bad impression that U.S. is going to go in the way of Nepal. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen like that. Nepal is a very different country geographically, population-wise, economics-wise, cost of living, average, just everything. It's all so different. I don't think we're going to see... I don't think you need to be worried about giant, large-scale, actual massive amounts of violence everywhere in the country, right? Even if there was a straight-up revolution, right? Even if there was what Iran's been having, most places would be business as usual, right? Like you go out and you look around and you just see birds chirping and squirrels running around burying nuts because these things don't happen. It's not like everyone's going to walk out their front door and just start fisticuffing with each other, you know? Like they happen at flashpoints. They happen at points of interest in localized places. So like, I guess the point that I'm driving to here is I know there's a lot of people going around right now saying buy a gun. That is reasonable advice if you are the kind of person who can safely have and handle and learn how to use a gun. But there are not more reasons to have a gun than to do basically anything else in service of trying to make things better and safer. You don't need to buy a gun. If you want to, go for it. If you are able to safely have one, safely store it, if you don't have a mental conditions that make owning a firearm particularly risky, like depression, sure. But you can also batch cook food for your neighborhood, for people who are struggling to be able to afford food. Like maybe you could go, one, meet your neighbors and learn their names and get their phone numbers and maybe, be sure that you actually know who they are. But you could be cooking for people. You could be helping somebody, get groceries who doesn't have mobility, right? You could be doing any number of things. It could be more intense, right? Hide an illegal immigrant. I shouldn't say hide an undocumented person, right? If you are a U.S. citizen and you know an undocumented person who's in danger, you can hide them in your house, right? There are ways to participate in radical resistance that are not doing direct violence. And I think anyone who cannot see that or who equates change and violence as inextricably, one-to-one, I'm not saying that no violence will occur. Violence will occur, 100%. But that's not the entirety of war. War is not a bunch of dudes go out and shoot each other, and then eventually enough of them are dead, and the ones who are still alive go, yay, we won the war. No, war is logistics. Wars are won by having a machine that is capable of sustaining what's going on. And that machine needs to be more powerful and more resilient than the opposition. That machine is not made entirely of guns. It's not made entirely of gun experts. It's not made entirely of gun owners. It's made of translators and physicians and engineers and technologists and chefs and culinary scientists figuring out how to make MREs and all of that shit. It takes truly a village. So I understand. I I understand feeling like the most direct action you can take for defense right now would be buy a gun. And I'm not saying don't do that. I hope that that's very clear. Do what you want to do. That's fine. I don't think that if you aren't the kind of person to have a gun, that you should feel like you don't have value or use. You absolutely do, is what I'm getting to. I appreciate your sentiment, but bullies only know one language. Sure, but we're not talking about just bullies. We're talking about the victims of bullies. We're talking about the impact the bullies are having on our nation, the changes that they've been making to people's lives, the reductions in the quality of life, or the ability for people to even just go about their day because of these bullies, right? Those effects, even if you just Thanos snapped the bullies away, those effects are still there. We need people who are dealing with the bullies. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm not saying that violence won't happen. Violence will happen. That's the dealing with the bullies. But like that, there's not enough bullies for every single person to be simultaneously violent. We need people taking care of those in need who are suffering the most right now. Like that needs to happen simultaneously. You know, we don't just abandon everyone to hyperfixate on one possible avenue towards a solution, which would be violent revolution, right? Things can happen while other people are contributing to their community. And here's the other thing to keep in mind. And this is probably gonna upset some people. This too shall pass. Right? Now, this too shall pass doesn't mean you'll be alive to see it. But this will end eventually. This is going to either blow up in their face or it's going to stick around for a while and eventually dissolve. It does not end with like all of us being dead, you know? People will die. People will get hurt. Lives will be ruined. That's been going on this whole time. It's been going on long before Trump came into office. ICE has been brutalizing people long before Trump came into office. They're doing it more now. But life will go on, right? We will have a world. There will be an Earth on the other end of this. And so, like, throwing away any notion of a future, and like, I get it. It really feels like right now there is no future. I get it. But throwing away the notion of even expecting a future or even thinking in terms of planning for the future is how you make mistakes. But if you operate with the assumption that there will be an end to this, there will be eventually a new day, you can start laying the groundwork to hit the ground running with that new day to make it much, much fucking better. So ultimately, I'm not preaching blind optimism. I don't really do relentless optimism. The comfort that I have comes from knowing that, well, I wouldn't call it comfort. I wouldn't call it comfort. The conviction that I have comes from the belief that no matter what, these fucking people will eventually get theirs. And that's all I have to go off of, right? Like I don't get to control how the world functions. I don't get to have my hands on the levers of like how everything plays out. But I can know that the dude's dying and people fucking hate this. And never before have we seen Americans so directly forced to pay attention. And Americans don't want to pay attention. They hate that shit. They don't want to have to pay attention. They don't want to have to do work. They don't want to have to get up and go protest their government. They're already barely able to afford food, and now they got to deal with fucking all of this shit. People are mad in a way that I've just like never seen. They don't get to keep doing this forever, because there will eventually come a point where it's like, this is too much. This is far, far too much. Shit will break. But in the meantime, we don't know how long this is going to last. Focus on what you can handle right now. Focus on what you can do. If you are not in an area where ICE is actively, like, invading, you don't need to be responsible for that, right? Like, you are not the one that has the call to go out and push back on ICE if it's not in your literal neighborhood. We spend all the time seeing all of the terrible things happening everywhere, and it makes it always feel like it's happening right in our backyard. But the reality is, what's happening right in our backyard is usually pretty fucking boring. And if that's not the case for you, and there is something major going on right in your backyard, then you are the exception. But for a lot of us, it's a matter of like, okay, things are really bad. This is a reminder that I should have the contact information of the people around me, right? For emergency situations. I should have a plan with some friends of like a rendezvous point to meet in the case of an emergency. I should have a little bit of a go bag, or I should make sure that my first aid kit is up to date. I should know what I'm going to do in the event that there's a communications outage, right? You know, by accident or because the government has decided to pull an Iran, right? There are things that you can be doing right now. Friends are a luxury? Yeah, go get them then. Like, I don't know what you want me to say in response to that. Like, go get some friends then. Like, yes, it's a luxury. Yeah, it takes effort, it takes time, it takes focus, it takes risk. And that's the case with anything worth having in this life. Nothing worth having in this world comes easy. And that sucks. But it's true. You got to put in the effort to be a part of it all, right? Like, we can't have community if people aren't willing to go risk themselves for that community. I live in a conservative state, Oklahoma, surrounded by people ICE would go after. Where the hell are they? They're not there because Oklahoma's a red state. It's not about going after immigrants. I mean, like, obviously it's about going after immigrants, but it's about going after their perceived enemies more than anything else. Specifically blue states, right? Like, specifically blue states. They want to use the power of the federal government to attack their perceived enemies. I said this last time. Like, they've spent multiple decades making up false realities about them being victims, and now they are taking revenge on a thing that never happened, and we all have to fucking deal with that shit. I am going to continue to push back on doomerism, I guess, is what I'm saying. I don't buy learned helplessness. I don't buy doomerism. I don't buy this is the end. I don't buy we're not going to have any more elections. I don't buy any of that shit. It's all being said by people who seem to have, one, very little understanding of civics, and two, a platform based on scaring people into thinking that they need to continue watching them, which is never what I want to do. Like, I am not here to tell people to be scared and follow me for the insider information on conspiracy theories and shit. It's not normal. It's not reality. It's like doomsday fantasy porn, right? A lot of people want to feel like they are the main character. The world is crumbling when it's my turn to be here. I am going to be, going down in a blaze of glory in these great battles or whatever. And like, no, it's actually, this is just kind of how the world goes. Things are especially bad right now, right here, but there's a lot of other places in the world where things are normal. Like just straight up normal. Like just, yep. Like it's not just here. So to call it the end of the world, to say like we're never going to get past this, to say like there is no future, we're cooked, so on and so forth. The thing that has us cooked are the people who are refusing to accept that anything could ever get better, right? The people who say, oh, we're so cooked, it's not even worth trying. I'm just going to do bad things instead. Like, you are the problem. Congratulations. The mature thing to do would be, wow, everything's really bad. I hope I can find a way to make things better. Being a doomer is just a path to not having done anything because, oh, well, it's already done. What can we do? It's lazy. Yeah. Being a doomer is abdicating any moral responsibility for anything and basically saying, I am just going to take the position of you deal with my problems, or I'm okay with you just being run over. That's fine. Like, I declare that everything is busted, and I declare this based on having scrolled on TikTok for a while. And so you all are going to have to deal with this world, and I'm going to complain about it while you do that. And that's being a doomer. It's nothing. It's nothing at all. That's what you're saying, and it's true. Yes, things are bad, but this isn't the end. History is littered with generations that said that there's the end and it wasn't. I mean, like, it won't be the end until the sun swallows the earth, you know? Like, it won't be the end until the world is gone. Until that, you know, things are bad, right? People are getting hurt. ICE is abducting people, torturing people, killing people. Things are bad. We can't fix that right now, you know? Like we can't make things not be bad immediately, and that's stressful because we're kind of used to immediacy at this point. But we can't just like fix it. And the worst reaction to acknowledging that we can't, quote, just fix it is to give up immediately, right? It's the same self-defeating logic as whenever somebody suggests, like, if everyone just voted third party, then we would blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, but that's not a plan. That's a dream. That's a abstract concept of every human being agreeing to do something. We can't agree on whether or not we should stick to daylight savings time or standard time. You really think that you're going to be able to get people to agree on which third-party candidate we're going to vote for? You know, like that's just not going to happen. This Not Jesus says hello from Owncast in YouTube chat. I'm very confused about that. Letting everything happen without opposition makes stuff easier. Fight back. And here's the thing, to be clear, a lot of the people who are saying we're doomed, we're cooked, we're blah, 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 there's nothing to do. Those people aren't doing anything, right? If those people were out protesting, they would be making the connections with the activists that are actually making moves. And they would be seeing firsthand that people are putting an immense amount of energy and effort into trying to make the world better for people. The people who are doing all the doomerism posting are not the ones who are actually involved in trying to make a difference. They're the ones who see the bad and say, well, that's it. The end. Guess there's nothing more for me to do. I've already tried reposting something. Guess I'll give up. Like, you can do anything else. So just kind of tired of the doomerism, kind of tired of the conspiracies. Someone, you know, I frequently get just people jumping immediately to conspiracy theories about random like software glitches. This morning, someone commented saying that they had like previously liked one of my videos and it came across their For You page again. And they wrote a comment saying that, and they ended it with, "This is very concerning." And so I replied being like, why is that concerning? Like, in what way is that concerning? That's just a thing that happens. Sometimes the For You page serves you old content that you've seen before. It just happens sometimes. Like, why does that have to be concerning? Why do we have to jump to this is a conspiracy theory? It's the same thing that happened recently where people started to realize that someone had registered Nazis.us and had it redirect to the Department of Homeland Security. And so when you typed Nazis.us into a social media website where it auto-completes links, it started to embed the DHS website. And people were like, oh my God, it's a conspiracy. If you type in Nazis.us, it shows DHS. And it's like, yeah, because someone bought that domain name and redirected it to the Department of Homeland Security as a gag. It's not a conspiracy. There's nothing, like, you didn't discover something. This isn't a secret. Or before that, Oracle purchased TikTok and changed the For You page. If you block Oracle, you'll fix your For You page algorithm. That's not how anything works. Even kind of how anything works. I'm so tired of just everyone jumping directly to conspiracy theories because it's like the end game of refusing to broaden your horizons, right? It's the same issue of all the people who are like, oh, I don't trust the experts. They all have an agenda. Okay, well then how the fuck are you going to learn anything ever? How will you ever understand anything if you won't talk to experienced people about it and take what they have to say to heart? Like, I once tried to explain, like a year or so ago, back, this time it was Oracle. You got to block Oracle to fix your For You page. At the beginning of last year, everybody was saying it was Facebook bought TikTok and you got to block Facebook's account on TikTok. Otherwise, they're going to steal all your datums or something. And I explained to somebody, I was like, look, here is how this all works and why that line of thinking is complete nonsense. And like, you don't need to be freaking out about this. And the person actually hit me back with, the fact that you know how to explain this away makes me not trust you more. And it's like, I am a software engineer. That is what I do. This is my job. This is my profession. I'm just explaining to you how this thing that I do for a living works. But instead of, we've gone so far in the opposite direction where people are so unwilling to learn stuff or accept that they don't know something, that they are so much faster to jump to a conclusion of, how can I make this make sense in a way that I must have known this? And then we end up with, I saw your video 2 times. This is a conspiracy. It's conspiracy theories and also what I call Elon responses, where they say things are concerning or worrying or whatever. Nothing responses just to say something. Yeah, this is concerning. Like, what about it is concerning? Explain. Like, please. Dude, do you know anything about Brexit? Huge demographic of groupthink where people said that they've been relying on experts for far too long and they wanted something different. Look what happened. Yeah, I've talked about this a little bit recently. Like, most of this is copium, right? Most of this is me coping. What you're about to hear is conjecture and me coping. But let me have this. I want to believe that we are going to have like a reckoning in the space of listening to experts because of exactly this. We have gone so far away from the light. We have RFK Jr. as the head of Health and Human Services, just tearing apart everything about like understood medical research and recommendations for public health. We have Dr. fucking Oz running around being like, the way we make America healthier is everybody takes fucking Ozempic. We've got Donald Trump drawing with Sharpie on hurricane maps because he wanted to change its trajectory. we've gone so far in the direction of not trusting experts on anything that we do the dumbest thing possible as a result. And I'm really hoping that a critical mass of people are fucking fed up enough with everything being so dumb and so needlessly dumb that like the culture shifts back to like, if you're not going to listen when someone's explaining something to you, shut the fuck up. Like, we're going to shift back to, hey, maybe not every opinion is valid. Maybe we don't need to get a coalition of opinions, including expert opinions and people who have never thought about this once in their life. Maybe we don't need that. Maybe we need people who are experts in their field to be leaders in their field. I want to believe that this is going to happen. But like I said, it's mostly copium. As someone who's all about food and health, he is my truest nemesis. I will never understand the people who thought that voting for RFK Jr. made any sense whatsoever. I will never understand the people who like fell into his like grift. And a lot of it was astroturfing, right? But like the number of people who got up in my fucking comments about me being like, hey, RFK Jr. is a well understood grifter who literally founded an anti-vax organization. And people were like, no, he didn't. Well, damn, I didn't consider that. I didn't consider that argument of no, he didn't. Of nah, I didn't. Oh, hold on. Let me flip through my notes here. Hold on. Oh, yeah, it says right here. Nah. You know what? I should have thought about that. That's on me. I'm an idiot. I'm big Dumbo. I'm gonna give the dog a kiss on the head, and then I think I'm gonna close the stream down. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think we did pretty good here today. I think we did pretty good. We didn't kill the happy ghost, but we did pretty good. Games. I would love to. I don't have games ready currently, and yeah, I do think I'm gonna pick up Vintage Story and Hytale because those both seem hype right now, and might check those out. Also, for those who did not see the announcement, for those who did not see the announcement, yesterday, I updated my gaming channel from Endeavorance Games to Fundeavorance. Please note that the fun is mandatory. So if you would like to follow me over on Fundeavorance, this channel is going to be where I'm going to post like any kind of fun adjacent stuff, like entertainment adjacent stuff, content that won't be like, you know, overtly political, news, science, tech, stuff like that. Like games and media and such will be going here. So if you want to follow Fundeavorance on YouTube, help out to grow this channel a bit. It's not currently monetized, so being able to get it monetized would be great and everything. But yeah, gonna be posting some stuff here in the coming weeks. But yeah. We need more fun. This is good. Thank you. Yeah, I've been really struggling, honestly, on whether or not I want to do more like entertainment type content, because I feel really fucking terrible about using my energy to do that when it feels like people are really wanting to learn more about what's going on in the world. I only have so much energy, so I have to kind of choose what I'm doing. I'm trying to force myself to do fun entertainment stuff primarily to not burn myself out to hell. And also because like we need that really fucking bad right now. Do I need to resub or is it the same profile? It's different YouTube channel. So you can subscribe to the other YouTube channel. They are two different channels. But all right, I'm gonna head out. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. We got all the way to the Happy Ghost. We'll see if we get further next time, but thank you for being here. I stream every Wednesday and Friday starting at 11 a.m. US Eastern. That's a good point. I need to kiss the dog. I did tell you that. Hold on. Wonderful. Take care. Be well. I'll see you on Wednesday. Praise. And also, here's the really cool part. You ready for this? Bye-bye.